All right. We'll go ahead and get started with Caleb Turner. Go ahead and ask Cale anything you need to.
Congrats on your first goal.
Thank you.
First goal in Utah.
Yeah,
How did it feel?
it was great. I mean, I just feel like we've been working so hard. So we work on set pieces a lot, and so it's nice to connect and score on it. Whether it's me, whether it's Mina, I don't care. I was just happy to see it in the back of the net.
And then you guys got the shutout tonight too.
Yeah.
Would you say this is probably the most complete game this team has played this season?
I do. I think that it was a game that each week we have a different theme kind of going into training and something different that we're working on. And I felt like this game showed every single week that's led up to it. So I do think it was the most complete game. A shutout is huge. We know that if we get a shutout, we'll at least get a point. And then we've been working on the attacking third the past few weeks, and to see more goals is always great.
This team is not afraid of physicality. I think you guys have been near the top of the league in fouls and cards throughout the season. How do you guys balance that, being aggressive while also trying to have that discipline too?
Yeah, I think it's part of game management, right? Whether you're up, whether you're down, it might be a little different. But I think that it helps a lot in transition too sometimes. So I think that I love that that we have a bite to us, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's part of our aggression, and we want to be front-footed. And if someone gets past us, you bring them down a little bit. It's all part of the game and game management.
Congratulations on the goal,
Thank
the
you.
shutout, the win, all of it.
Thanks.
I noticed in the warm-up that there were a lot of smiles and high fives, and then with your goal, and then with Paige's around the 45th, there were hugs with the sideline, the bench. It just feels like the vibes are high. Where is this team at in terms of how you're feeling about position, in terms of improvement, and where you see the future going with it?
Yeah, I think it's a different type of energy that we have. Like, we're starting to enjoy it again, and it's hard when our first half of season was tough, and when you're not getting results, it's hard to have those like little moments. And we've worked so hard, and we're building on our performances, and I just feel like everyone has that joy back, and those smiles and those high fives, and I think that's huge for us, and it just brings us energy. And I think being back home too was so nice, because we had a long road stretch, so just being back home in front of our own fans was really nice.
You touched on energy. You're busy, I know, but have you ever been able to really soak in Poe's sideline work, her crowd work from the bench? Yeah.
Poe's incredible. She's like our biggest hype woman, like everyone's biggest hype woman.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
So one last question for me. So unbeaten in 5, 3 shutouts in the same. Do you allow yourself a pat on the back? Are you willing to kind of take in the success that you're having against teams like Houston and others, where they've been doing fairly well in this recent run-up in their form? Do you allow yourself a chance to kind of soak it in and pat yourself on the back?
I think acknowledging how far we've come and our growth that we've had, but also not settling. We know that every game there are areas that we can improve in. So obviously I think that our first half was really strong, and our second half I think may have tapered off a little bit. So how can we continue to just attack them in the recognize that we've been doing better, but that we need to continue to keep doing better.
Just to kind of follow up on sort of the vibes during this current run, you mentioned how the emotions have kind of flipped, changed in just a lot of ways since the first half of the season. Tough stretches, tough losses, all that stuff. For you personally, do you feel kind of yourself coming back into a little bit more consistency because you personally were sort of missing a big chunk of that first half of the season and coming back from injury and the injury itself and all that stuff? Do you feel like you're in a totally different place personally?
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to hit stride. It takes a little bit when you've been out for the time that I was out. But I think that my teammates have just done a good job of, like, I felt like it was not seamless, but it was like relatively easier than I've had in past. So, and I think that's just a credit to my teammates and them being organized and us just like working together.
And then if I could just ask you about one of those teammates, what's gotten into Paige?
She's going off. They can't stop her. Yeah, I mean, incredible goals. Like, she's been clutch in past 3 games. So, just a dangerous player, great captain, great person. So,
All right. Thank you, Kale.
thank you guys.
We'll have Paige and Jimmy in here shortly.
Thank you.
So solid.
All right, we have head coach Jimmy here, and Caleb's got the mic once again. Go right ahead, Caleb.
Kale just told us that she thought this was the team's most complete game of the season so far. Would you agree with that?
Most complete first half, definitely. I think first half was a lot of the elements that we've been working on very, very hard. And I think especially the press, the way we show up, I think some stats like they had some possession, but all of their possession was on their own half. We were having possession, but we were having possession on the opponent's half. And I think those were like small things that we've really been focusing on. I think you also can see it and feel it in the way that we just move forward, we press forward, we step quite aggressive. And I think that just results in a very good first half. So I think it was definitely the most complete first half that we've played so far.
Then going into the second half, then what are some things that you'd like to see improve?
Yeah, I just think we're just talking about it with the staff as well. It almost feels uncomfortable being in the lead. So I think normally we come out in second halves and we're like, okay, lately it's been 0-0, so you go like, okay, now can we push to win the game? And now you go into halftime 2-0 and you're kind of just showing them what they've been doing well. And it's like, can we keep track of what we've been doing well and can we exploit that more? It was actually crazy because I think Houston Dash went to a double pivot in the second half in comparison to a single pivot in the first half. So actually we had more space to find a Tejada, to find a Claudia between the lines. I think slightly struggling more with like that part of recognition and just finding those passes. But yeah, I just think at the end of the day, I think Bianca came in with a clear vision of what she wanted to do. She wanted to contribute to a win at home, a shutout. So I think that's huge to us. And I think those are the things that we have to take into account when we look at players, when we look at practice, when we look at selections, whatever it is. I think we need that mentality, whatever it takes. And I think before the game we said as well, it's contributions over credit. And I think that's huge to us. It's just making sure that we're contributing to the bigger picture and making sure that everyone is taking credits at the end of the season. But right now it's just contributing and we'll see where we end.
You kind of just nullified my question with that, but I'll still ask it anyway. Congratulations on the win and the shutout.
Thank you.
We just talked to Kale about the vibe, how from warm-up to through the goals, how there was just it felt like a good vibe with this team, that they're firing and they're feeling good about life. How do you personally feel as a coach at this point in the season? You just said you're going to have to wait till the end, but how are you feeling if you're willing to share?
I just had the conversation with our front office as well, where I'm just kind of mad at myself for the first half of the season. Obviously, there was a lot of context, there was a lot of circumstances, but could we have done better in the first half of the season? Probably, definitely, without a doubt. So I think that's just the hardest part right now is like, how do we use this momentum? How do we keep this momentum going? How do we create belief into the end of the season, but also moving forward, that we make sure that we take this into whatever's coming next season. I think that's the biggest part. So I'm definitely feeling happy about what we're doing right now, but I'm also very critical. Like, I have a lot of criticism towards myself. I look at myself very often when we're making decisions, when we're playing, when we're training. And I think looking at that, I think happy about today, but still trying to figure out what happened in that first half of the season.
I'll ask you the same question that I asked Kale as well. So you haven't lost in 5, 3 shutouts in the same. How are you feeling about the team's overall defensive work? Because it's not just the back line, even though they're huge, and it's not just Mandy. We're seeing a lot of players come back and help, and they're working it up the upper half of the pitch as well. How are you feeling about this team's overall defensive effort?
Yeah, I think we're racking up a lot of high speed, and I think it's in both sides of the game. It's both defensively as offensively. I think what makes it easier for us right now is that we're putting so much pressure on the balls. We're really minimizing time on the ball, and it becomes kind of predictable what's going to happen. I think the number of times we were able to put pressure on Jane Campbell today, and she had to or boot it out, or like her body positioning was kind of giving away what was about to happen. And those situations just something that we recreate at practice so often. I think, for example, this week we were working very heavily on again, like that final third entry, finding the right passes. Do we have to go in between the lines? Do we have to go beyond the lines? You know, when you succeed, you have a shot on goal. When you don't succeed, you have a defensive recovery. And I'm just happy to see in those moments my players also pressing forward, even at practice, because it's just replicating what's going to happen in the game. If I give that ball and I'm not succeeding in what I do, like I need someone to put pressure on the ball. And I think Aisha has been amazing. I think we saw Chloe Lacasse was disappointed to be sub, but she just dropped in terms of intensity. So it's also a sign from our side to just make sure, like, look, we need this intensity. That's what we do. And I think that was kind of different in the second half. So I think that's why, again, I'm happy with the performance of subs as well, coming on and really putting in the effort, pushing forward. I think Bianca has kind of a very hard job the last 3 to 4 weeks, coming in, getting 20 minutes, and basically all you got to do is just run. Make sure you run. I think that's kind of hard for her, but she's taken it in a very good way. So I think, again, like, just happy with what we've been doing overall.
And just one more for me, and I know you're not in charge of visas, but has Lara been able to integrate? Into what level has she been able to mesh with the team?
Yeah, I think unfortunately it's going to take 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe for Lara to be involved in what we do right now. Just heard a few things coming back from a league perspective as well. That, like, I don't think everyone did within a process of getting a visa. I don't think everything went so smooth. We did our job, so I think that's clear. So I think it's just kind of unfortunately that in this vibe, in this stretch of games, that you cannot add something positive to it, and you can add someone that might up the level, might up some quality. So I think that's just the very unfortunate element of the situation right now, but I think she's dealing well with it. We're connected. We're making sure she's ready for whenever she will be ready. Thank you.
I feel like we need to ask about the captain a little bit after today's game, because it's not just Paige scoring goals again, but the types of goals she's scoring is really impressive. She's inside the box, she's outside the box, she's, you know, multiple positions on the field, good connection with her teammates, direct play, you know, whatever, playing it on the ground. Just what is it about her game where she's kind of she's always put herself in good positions, and now she's kind of finishing those chances, I guess.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest downfalls of our first half of the season was getting numbers up front, getting numbers in and around the box. And I think if you just look at the goal that Paige made today, and it's all credit to Paige, but you had Yanni on her right. So you all of a sudden have that left fullback that needs to make a decision. Am I going for Yanni? Am I going for Paige? And whenever you have someone wide, from a theoretical point of view, it should be the fullback and it should be the center back stepping. But just because it happens in half a second, it just allows us to get time on the ball for a Paige. And like I said, a Paige with a lot of confidence is what you get right now. And I think it's just the whole picture of that goal making me very happy. We go to Nuria. She plays that perfect diagonal ball because we're playing against a single pivot. So it's that point of recognition. It's finding the players. Yanni making that run. It's a sacrifice run. She's creating space for the one on the ball. And then obviously it's an amazing finish. But it's just like the whole picture is, the pieces are coming together, which we're very happy about. It's just keeping this momentum going now.
I want to piggyback off something that Sean actually asked Kale before you stepped in here. Is there a better hype woman than Poe?
But, I mean, Poe is one of the players where whatever happens in the weekend, whatever happens in the morning, she walks in and she's consistent in what she does. And that's both on and off the pitch. I think off the pitch she's showing the willingness to improve. She's picking up a lot of things. I think if you go into a film session, it will be Poe answering the questions. And right now, obviously, you have a Nuria Urbano who's playing, in my opinion, she was one of the better players today. And I think it's just hard for Poe, but it's also that point of recognition when she goes like, okay, I'm second now. It's clear that I'm second. What's my new role? What can I contribute to the team? And we had that conversation with her as well. And she was like, okay, clear, if that's what you want me to do, I'll get on top of it. And that will be for the team. And I think that's just amazing. I think Poe has been hyping everyone up, and you can also see it. I think we're close to scoring. I think she was past me. She was almost on the pitch already. So I think those moments, just things that I take a lot of joy in, and then just to see them being able to translate that vibe that we have at practice, that we have since we came back in July, just getting it into games. Because I think at the end of the day, our first half was also not only joyful to watch, but I also feel like they had joy on the pitch, and like they were happy. So I think that's just really important.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Paige in here next. everyone else.
Hey, Lindsay.
You brought the whole crew with you.
Yeah, I know.
I always wondered the tininess of the entourage. Is that-
Yeah, me too.
All right, we'll go and get started. Go ahead, Caleb.
The mic.
At what point did you know you were going to take that shot?
Honestly, I got the ball, turned in the pocket, and I saw Yenny was making the run, and I saw Chapman drop, and I took a quick look up before, and I saw that Jane was off her line. So, yeah, it kind of happened so fast, but also so slow at the same time. I feel like I've just really been playing in my flow state, and that's what's led to goals, which has been so cool. It like happens, and I'm almost like, what just happened, you know? But yeah, it's just been really good. So. That was that.
Flow state. Can you break that term down for us a bit?
Yeah, I think for me, my float state's like when I'm not really even thinking that much about it. I'm just playing. I'm just being me. And I've noticed and I've worked on that. I do that consistently in training. It's just sometimes with games I could be like nervous or like I'm thinking too quickly or too ahead or behind. So I've just really focused on just what I do in training is prepping me for the game. So just do that. And that's just been, I mean, it's like a relief to play as an athlete in that flow state.
As the captain of this team, we were just talking to Jimmy about a little bit of his perspective, big picture on this season, and how thinking about, you know, how can we improve on what we did in the first half of the season, and now not just focusing on who gets credit for things going well, but continuing to contribute. As a leader on the team, how are you kind of seeing the season from a bigger perspective at this point?
Yeah, I think I definitely do a lot of reflecting as a leader, especially in the first half of the season being out. I had a lot of time like on my hands, you know, just to think. But I really think when we came back in the second half of the season, it was just like, what do we need to work on? And just breaking it down. And even as simple as box defending, you know, we nailed that down for weeks. And then we moved on to like the midfield. Then we moved on to the front line. So I think overall, when I think of the season, I think of the first half, and I'm like, okay, flush that. Let's go on to the second half. And I know we can make a run here, which has been really good. And I think the biggest thing as a leader has been just encouraging that growth and like that growth mindset. And if we have that, we'll set us up for success.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations on the goal. Congratulations on the win. I'll even give you congratulations on the shutout because it was a team effort.
Thanks.
But we've talked about it in here a little bit before you came in, that the vibe seemed really high from warm-up to the celebrations with the goals, you running to the sideline, the hugs. Again, the vibe just seems immaculate and really high. Is it so much that it was a Sunday at 4 game and it's beautiful weather, or is it what you just mentioned that you can see the run that's coming, you feel the form that the team's in? Just what's your take on just how the team seems to be gelling and feeling?
Yeah, honestly, the 4 o'clock game kind of scared me because that's usually my nap time. So I was like, okay, how am I going to make changes for my game day prep? But honestly, I would say it's just credit to the girls. It's the vibe of the group. I feel like obviously we've had some changes. You know, we've had results, we've had bad results, we have good results that I think the group has really just leaned in on each other. And as a leader, I'm definitely encouraging that every single day. And I think when you have a locker room that just loves each other, pours into each other, and like competes every single day, we're made for success. And that's just been really cool and just something like you enjoy going to work every day, you know. So that's somewhere where I want to be. That's somewhere, that's a culture I want to cultivate. And to get the results from that, you're like, okay, it's working.
And you are the official leader. You have another huge leader on the sideline right now, and I believe it was Poe that you hugged. I could be wrong when you came over.
Yeah.
How much does her support from the sideline mean to you and the team? Because she is loud and involved throughout the match.
Yeah, I think Poe is the definition of a selfless leader. Whatever is going on in her life, she always puts the team before her. And that is just such a special person. And I'm lucky where she's one of my closest friends and everything like that. But the amount of times I look at her and I tell her, I'm like, you don't understand how crucial you are to our team. And she's, you know, a veteran. She's been in this league. She's serving in a different role where she's not getting minutes. Like, she can make it about herself and, you know, drag the group down. But she just pours herself into the group and pours herself to being like the best she could possibly be, and just like not make it about her. And like, honestly, like if you want a team to be successful, you need players like that. So just honestly amazed by her, and it's really cool to be able to gush about her on media right now.
Well, can we gush about one more player too? Because
Yeah.
we learned that Kaylee doesn't love a lot of attention, and yet it was her first goal
Yeah.
for the Utah Royals in regulation play or in season play. How much does she mean? How much do you think her goal kind of exemplifies what she brings to the squad.
Yeah, I think Kale is also so similar to Poe, where she's been through a lot. Even I think if you think of our first half of the season and our second half, Kale wasn't involved in the first half. She's involved in the second half, and the second half is looking better. And that's credit to her. You know, she is not about herself. She's about the team. She pushes everyone to be the best she could be. You know, she'll scream at me at practice if I do something wrong, and I know it comes from a place where she knows I can do better. And we need that. I need that. So she's so humble. She's so hardworking. Again, I think having players like that on your team really sets you up for success. And it's just been, we're so lucky to have her. And I'm so happy she got the goal. And I think, honestly, her scoring early for us and being Kale, it gave us like a momentum that, okay, we're going at them, which was really fun. Yeah, thanks.
For the record, Paige, Sunday at 4 o'clock is usually my nap time as well.
Good,
so
I'm
I
glad.
just want to say you're not alone.
Right? NFL playing in the background. Like, what are we doing?
You know exactly where I'm at. You know exactly where my head's at. On the home crowd, it feels, and obviously this is from the outside, you guys are working week to week, game to game kind of a thing, so maybe it doesn't totally feel this way, but it feels like it's been forever since you guys were at home, and I think it felt that way for a lot of the fans out here tonight. The energy was really good. Like, the fans were getting into it. You should have seen the halftime performance. It was something. Yeah, go look it up. Did it feel like it's been a while since you guys got to, you know, perform here at AFF and get in front of that home crowd and that sort of thing? And did that kind of drive you to start as well as you did, maybe?
Definitely. I mean, we had the 3-game road series, or whatever you want to call it, where we were just everywhere and anywhere, that when we came back, we were all like, oh, the mountains, like the pitch, like this is so beautiful, which honestly was a good refresher. But then to be in front of the fans who have stuck with us, like through the lows, through the highs, it meant everything to us. And yeah, I think it did give us energy for sure, because we were definitely slamming some Red Bulls before the game.
Thank you, Paige. Oh, sorry.
I don't even know. It's just like the sugar-free one, whatever that one is.
Just blue.
Yeah, I'm like, Red Bull sponsor us. Cool.
All right.
Is that it?
I think we'll end there. Thank you, Paige.
Mic drop. Mic drop. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for your patience.